Lil Rel recently stopped by the Fox Soul show, brutally honest with Jasmine Brand. During their hour-long conversation, Rel would speak on his frustrations when it comes to how our own community supports black entertainers. Now, in the interview, Rel said, if black people feel like you got everything from the mainstream, they kind of feel like, well, we don't have to support you because you got them. But if you don't have that support, they're like, yeah, we got your back. Their discussion would lead to Rel saying that comedians like Jerrod Carmichael and Hannibal Buress aren't supported by black people because they already get support from white Hollywood. Today we have our comedy hype analyst, Pierre Capone, as well as a very special guest, Rex Garvin, calling in to give their thoughts and reactions. But first, let's take a look at this clip.
Carmichael's show was really good. I remember talking to Kenya Burris about Jerrod one day. And it got a little heated. I didn't like what he was saying or how he saw Jerrod. Black people feel like that you got everything from mainstream. They kind of feel like we don't have to support you because you got them. But if you don't have that support, they're like, all right, we got your back. That's why like you see like half-ass things be supported. Like, yo, this not even good. Why y'all like supporting this? Kevin Hart had 2 careers. His first one was because mainstream Hollywood loved her. He had a sitcom on ABC and nobody remembers that.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's what I'm saying. That's why he got his deals because he was killing the festivals, and showcases and Comedy Central.
Yeah.
And then when all that went away, you know, I think Kevin's brilliance is when he decided to go back on the road again. Black people put Kevin back on top, and then he was able to combine forces because he knew both worlds.
Right.
And then shoot, boom, that's what it is, shoot doubles. I've seen like Hannibal, you know, people used to say about like, you can't pick your audience. And that's why a lot of the young guys are not supported because of this whole, white people gave you this thing, so why are we gonna support? Like, fam, come on. Yeah.
Now, I want to dive right into reactions on this one, Pierre. I'm going to start with you. What's your reaction to it? And of course, do you agree with Lil Rel's response?
A lot of it I do, but first of all, let me give it a saying to Lil Rel. Lil Rel, next time I'm in LA, I'm doing my panic room, you need to sit down with a comic. No disrespect to her, but you need to sit down with a real comedian who's been through the trenches and understands. And, you know, the show was called Big House. I mean, that's what Kevin Hart's show was. But yeah, you need to, you know, we'll have a sit down. He's right to a certain extent, but what he has to understand is Just for Laughs is run by white people. So white people bring those comics to Just for Laughs to get them a deal. It's what white folks see. A lot of good black comics don't get to go to talented Just for Laughs. So that's where the mainstream is built at. So when you're over there with them, you know, whatever you call it, the mainstream audience, the mainstream executive producers and so forth, not the black producers and all that, just the white ones, and keep getting work from there, then black people start to pull back and say, hold on, you're on a lot of these white situations, getting the white deals and so forth. So it is a pullback. Kevin Hart, come on, he went back to the black situation. No, he didn't want to. What it was a Shaq All-Star show, show with blew him back up. He didn't even want to do that. He had been doing so much around the white people and doing white stuff that he didn't even want to do the black Shaq All-Star. And when he did it, that's what blew him up. Black folks are all saying, you know, black folks make you famous, white folks make you rich. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So when we see you doing more mainstream white ABC shows, NBC shows, or game shows or whatever it is, we think you're mainstream. You left us. We don't see you in the black clubs no more. We don't see you in the trenches anymore. So black people feel like, hey, you ain't one of us no more. You over there. And you know, and I say not rightfully so, but you have to understand what black audiences feel like. Like, hey, you're not around us no more. We don't see you at the comedy club, local ones around us, the hood spots or whatever, the hood theater shows, the tours together. We don't see you on that. So we don't feel like you're down with us anymore. And not saying, because I know Lil Rel is down, but if you don't see him around us, it is what it is.
Absolutely. Let me bring you in, Capone. What's your reaction to it? And do you agree with Lil Rel's response?
I agree to a certain extent. It's definitely a divided situation. But the thing is, and in all reality, once you start doing these so-called mainstream rooms, your comedy becomes watered down. You're not as funny as you used to be. You're not as hungry. I don't want to say you don't write, but I don't know that. But to me, the guys don't hit it like the guys who are not mainstream. You know, Lil Rel is funny as hell, and I know that he can go either way. You know, his acting ability actually shocked me because he's been so good on the black circuit, should I say. But once he got on to the white circuit, it definitely showed his range. But I personally think that once you get into the mainstream, They tell you what to do. They tell you what you can say and what you can't say, and you kind of lose that edge. With us, we want to hear raw shit, and that's it.
Absolutely. I love having this conversation with a room full of veterans. Speaking of veteran, we have Mr. Rex Garvin. First and foremost, thank you for joining us for our last episode of the year. Yes, we can give a round of applause.
Thank you.
Now, I would love to get your reaction to this. You know, what's your reaction? Do you agree with Lil Rel's response?
Well, I want to say this. Thank you very much for having me here, Symphony. And Happy New Year to everyone here. I have to agree with Pierre, Capone, and Lil Rel. Being a black comedian is really effed up. It's jacked up in the purest form because you got to please. I love our people, but we are a prisoner with each other. Sometimes within our culture, you ain't real. And the person that's saying that is living in an illusion. So what the hell is real? So the person that's telling me I ain't real ain't worth a shit, and they're walking in an illusion. To please us is a 24-hour job with no lunch breaks. What is mainstream? Let me tell you something. School's in session right now when I talk, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. What is mainstream? That's the question, because hip-hop culture has turned white kids out. Elvis has left the building, and Eminem has come on in. You got more white kids now have black attitudes. So mainstream is people my age. I'm 60 years old. So you're talking about white people my age that you got to please, tap dance for. You Z generation millennials, y'all ain't kissing nobody's ass. So y'all are doing your own thing. And plus, Jerrod is gay too, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, now, please, he got a big market for his ass. He came out, see, I'm straight. I'm behind the velvet rope, okay? I don't exist no more. My time is up, okay? I'm a heterosexual male. The jig is up. I got to go across the street and wish, okay? So this is gay time. This is millennial time. My old ass is behind. I'm not a must no more. I'm not a must. Capital M-U-S-T. I'm a so what. So I'm happy to be in all of your presence. Meanwhile, mainstream is out the window now because you ain't got to kiss nobody's ass now because everybody is open. Lil Rel makes a good point, and he made a good point about how Kevin Hart was able to combine the two, which means he can do the nigger shit and he can do the white stuff, which is a gift. Steve Harvey, matter of fact, it's amazing to watch white folks love Bernie Mac now. Bernie Mac was a nigger to white people once upon a time. I mean, a pure, uncut nigger. Yes. Okay? Bernie Mac. All of a sudden, white folks love him now because it's called timing. 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 Like in the world of comedy, it's all timing. Everything is timing. We're in a new season right now. So Jerrod Carmichael has nothing to complain about. The night is young, the world is his, and it's on. But everybody has a good point. But like I said, being black is a 24-hour job with no lunch breaks. So it is what it is, homemade from scratch.
Absolutely, I love it. Now, of course, Yamanika couldn't join us today, but she was able to call in and leave a message to react to this. So I want to take a look at that clip to get Yamanika's reaction.
I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity to join today, because I know everybody thought I was gone. I'm not, I'm here. Forever. But I'm in LA taping a project. So, and I thought this was a very important topic for me to get on. And I am out here in white mainstream Hollywood doing a project. It is a complicated situation, right? Because first of all, I know Rel, and you know, I knew Rel before he blew up. And he is such a dynamic person, comedian, and he's worked really hard. There's a strong work ethic with him. You know, I want to be very transparent. I know Rel, you know, I know Jerrod, and I love them both. I respect them both. I think they're very hardworking comedians. I have probably said to Jerrod 3 or 4 times how I did not like him when he first came out. I just could not stand him. And the reason why I say this to him so much is because not that he has to do anything to appease me, but seeing who he is now and living in his truth and speaking his vulnerability is, as a comedian, is so beautiful to me. I'm in awe of what he is doing and his voice. And I'm somebody that also loves Chappelle. Right. So the pendulum goes like this. Like, I love Chappelle. I think Chappelle's the GOAT. I think he be saying a bunch of shit that's like, But I also love Jerrod. And I think even with what Jerrod is doing now, I don't even think that most of Black America is going to tap into him and what he's saying now. I don't think we're going to give him the vulnerability. And sometimes as a comedian, you want to go somewhere where people are going to listen to you, where people are going to hear you and understand you. And I don't think it's always a safe space in the Black comedy area for people to be vulnerable and not feel like a showcase, right? Even I do sometimes. And I'm the person that gives a less other than to say what I want to say. Sometimes I'm like, okay, there's a couple sisters. All right, now you gotta represent. When we constantly are thinking about representing and not telling our truth or do our comedy, it can be very stifling. So I wish that we would be more open to different types of comedians. And I'm saying that there's a lot of Black comedians that are on the mainstream that's corny as hell, that's playing up to white people, that's up here stepping and fetching and, oh my, Black people do this, white people do it. I understand that. And I 1,000% get rid of them niggas. They corny. They selling us out. They doing a whole bunch of shit. But we also have to we have to understand like Miss Pat, right? Who everybody loves now. She was mainstream. I mean, we embrace her, right? Because she's on BET, and now we feel like we can embrace her because she's on our network. But never mistake, mainstream and white America got onto Miss Pat and her story before we did. So sometimes it does work in the reverse, and we have to be, very aware of that. And we also have to be aware of where are our outlets for Black comics to have spaces to be different. We keep saying we're not a monolith, but when you look at the lens of sometimes urban comedy, all you see is the same thing over and over and over again.
Now, Pierre, I want to come back to you because you actually made a point earlier. Of course, if you want to respond to anything that anybody said, of course, I want to open the floor for that. But also, it brings up the question, who does it fall on? Is it, can that responsibility be put on the audience, or is it more, the artist needs to conform their art to talk to the audience if, you're looking to have more of a Black audience than the mainstream white audience that we're talking about, Pierre?
Well, I mean, depending on how talented you are and how long you think you can be in this business. Dave Chappelle didn't, he went mainstream and stayed there for, until the crowd started coming to him. Now the Black crowd comes to him, certain, crowd. I mean, all the Cat Williams crowds ain't gonna come to him. You know what I'm saying? To Dave Chappelle, but Dave Chappelle's getting a lot more Black people coming to him than had been before from his show, and just what he's talking about. They're listening to him differently. Sometimes as the Black audience, we expect comedy, kind of like what Yamanika was just saying, Black comedy to be a certain way, a certain rhythm. We want the majesty of it, the bigness of it, the preacher. I told you, I ain't want to go do that. That's what we want in comedy, considered urban comedy. And if you don't do that, we sometimes subjugate you, move you to the side, and you got to stay in your lane. You got to believe in yourself. What do you want? Be yourself and let those come to you. So to say whose fault is it, who should be responsible for it, at the end of the day, you should be responsible for what you put out there, however you feel. If the mainstream, if the urban audience don't come to you, then that might not be your lane. We can smell out something that ain't real. If you up there that you ain't come from the streets or have the rhythm of the streets or the Black rhythm, however you were raised in the suburbs or more around a white family, went to white schools. If you try to go to a Black crowd, we know, we can feel it. We can hear the vernacular, we hear it, we can feel it. And if we feel that you're not authentic to the streets or what we're used to hearing, then we're going to shy away from you. And we are very judgmental as an audience, very judgmental. If you talk about gays, if you're pro-gay or anti-religion or something, people, Black audience, I can't do all the hell. You go to hell, I can't hear you. Well, white folks are more open to that, to hear all kind of stuff. So to me, you make your own decision, but I say stay in your lane, do it. And those who come to you, they're supposed to come to you, a la and even Cat Williams, he was who he was. White folks came to see him. Dave Chappelle stayed who he was, and more Black people started coming to him. So stay who you are.
Absolutely. Now, Rex, I want to come to you because I saw you shaking your head and kind of speaking when just kind of responding to Yamanika. So I'd love to get your thoughts on this as well. What do you think? Do you think it falls on the audience, or is it the responsibility of the artist to make sure that their material relates to the Black audience?
The artist has to grow. If black people ain't feeling you, keep on moving. You know you're black. Like I said, see, and first of all, I'm not from the hood. See, I'm tired of this hood shit. Ever since the hip hop culture came, you got to be real up the hood, and you got so many middle class people that got to suffer that shit. Okay? And what's so bad? People from the hood ain't from the damn hood. Ain't that some shit? The projects is not the hood. The projects was always a good place to go to. The record industry messed that hood shit up. But when the record industry came with that hood shit and messed up the damn projects, the project was always the safest place to go. Public housing. I hate that hood shit. So you're talking about keeping it real. No. If black people don't feel you, pick another race. Okay? I please East Indians and Mexicans and Jewish people. That's what I do. If niggas get tired of me, see ya! I'm not going to waste my time to be around people who ain't feeling me. Or nigga, you ain't real. Well, have a nice day, motherfucker. Fuck you. Go get some chicken and leave me the hell alone.
Yeah, right.
I ain't got time for it. I'm tired of this hood shit, man. I came up with this hip hop. I came up with me and my cousin, Grandmaster DXT, who did Rocket, Herbie Hancock. We gonna talk to young people about this hood shit, man, because it's gotten out of control. Look at Atlanta. We living in Hood City. Okay, Buckhead wasn't no goddamn hood. It was a nice place once upon a time. And the people that's from Atlanta know what the hell I'm talking about. People born and raised here know what the hell I'm talking about. And I'm sick of this damn shit with this hood shit. Well, you gotta please me. Damn you, nigga. Who the hell, kindergarten dropout? I gotta please you? So hell no. So comedians gotta learn how to grow. You know who you are. You're indigenous, you're black, you're a person of color. You know who you are. If your people are holding you down, keep on growing. Don't let these motherfuckers, this kindergarten dropout, and you graduated, or even if you didn't graduate, you got an intelligent mind. Okay, everybody didn't finish school, but they got a brain. They're very smart. Everybody ain't got to have a degree. But don't let that motherfucker on the corner on MLK, scratching his ass eating chicken with no direction, talking about you got to please him. Well, you got to respect me. Go to hell and have a nice day for me. Okay, so you got to grow. So if you're a person of lyric and word, and if you're going to another level, don't let our own people stop you. You keep on moving.
Love it, love it. Capone.
Damn, is there extinguisher in the house? Because Rex on fire.
I'm tired.
I love it. I tell you, I love when Rex Garvin gets to join us. It's definitely adds a lot of dynamic to the show, so we appreciate you so much. Capone, of course, I want to get your thoughts as well. What do you think? Who do you think the responsibility falls back on? Is it the audience or the artist's responsibility in these cases?
Well, let me say this. As a comedian, as a legend, as a veteran, whatever you want to call me, OG.
Tell it, nigga, tell it.
You cannot pick the audience. Whoever buys those tickets, you got to perform for. So whether it's in a black area, a white area, you be yourself. You do what you got to do in order to make those people laugh. I don't sit there and say, I got black jokes. I got jokes. And whoever I tell them for, some people going to get it, and some people not. Black or white, Chinese, Puerto Rican, I speak about everybody. And I've seen my audiences change. But Rex makes a very great point. You don't keep yourself in the same position. You learn to grow. You learn to grow and learn about different cultures. Right. That way you can talk and people will understand you. Being just because I'm black doesn't mean I don't know about the Jewish community or I don't know about the Latin community. I know about all of them. And you study. And that's what makes a great comedian, comedian when he studies and he talks about the different subjects that everyone can relate to. It's just not about sex. It's not about just kids. It's a whole different, great, different things that you can talk about. But a lot of us who are not successful blame it. You have to blame it on something. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. And white people holding me back. And, mainstream, all that shit is garbage. I've been doing this for a while and I've performed all around the world. And Africa is what taught me the difference. When I went there and got treated like I was Michael Jackson or something, I was shocked. But that's the power of the internet. You need to utilize those type of things to introduce yourself to people who don't know you. Always reintroduce yourself. Bottom line.
Right on, Capone.
Absolutely. Now, what I want to do, I do want to open up, of course, the floor for our live studio audience. As you know, every Wednesday, we have a live studio audience that comes in, whenever Pierre and Capone comes back, we can all sit around the table together. But I want to open up the floor to Kenny. He is actually the owner of KTATL and one of our partners for My Mama Black. So yes, let's give him a round of applause. So Kenny, I'll kick it over to you. What's your question for us?
Okay. Well, mainstream, the word main is also synonymous with majority. The main people, the majority. And in this country, I don't know if you know that, but the majority is white right now. It is. I mean, I think Latin is coming up next. So when you are appeasing more white people, that's what we've considered mainstream. I'm not the only one to consider it. That's what we consider mainstream. We as Black people are a smaller sector in the United States. And so it will never become main if we're smaller than the bigger section. So it's because white people join you because they're the majority of the people. And that's why people say it's mainstream.
First of all, that's the biggest lie told in the world, that white people are majority. White people are becoming extinct and they know it. And that's why
in the United States? In the United States, there's less white people in the United States.
What should be said is white people are majority in the entertainment business as far as owners, not in the United States that they're majority. Latin community got them beat, and we do come second along with Chinese in the United States. But I would have to say on the majority of the entertainment and controlling the entertainment, yes, they are the mainstream people. And it's so funny because majority of us as Black people are the ones that work for them. They don't hire. It used to be all white comedy clubs. Now white people barely can get in these comedy clubs because the Black people come out in tons to these mainstream, so-called mainstream comedy clubs. Every other night it's a Black night, a Black headline. There's a few white people that bring them in, but not like us.
Capone is the Bible. Capone is the Bible. He's telling the truth, man. Like I said, white people now are spicy. They're not like they used to be. Before, if you give a white person some salt and pepper, they freak out. Now they're like paprika, curry. White people, hip hop has done wonders now. I mean, there's some negative shit, but hip hop has done a unique for race relations. And it made a lot of young white kids Black. All of them got that Justin Timberlake haircut. They don't want to show their long hair no more. They got swag to them. They're not corny. So, and this young man made a good point that, guess what, young man? I got good news for you. We are the mainstream now. That white mainstream shit played out in 1985. So we are the people that choose now. I mean, ever since BET came and we found ourselves and our identity, Black people, we're running ourselves now. So whenever we talk this white and Black shit, that's really some 1805 slave shit. Because we on some new stuff now. We at a whole nother level with us now, and we're satisfying each other. But we have a lot of mental problems. We got mental illness within our race because we haven't gotten over that slave boat. So we got a lot of things we got to fix within ourselves. But we're doing, so far so good, we're doing a good job being ourselves. We got a long way to go, but we're like Capone made a good point. White folks are slowly becoming the minority. Hey, let me tell you something. A lot of biracial couples have gotten together. You have a lot of multiracial kids, everybody marrying each other. That's why the white supremacy is getting back into the mix because of that shit, because they see that they're losing out. But they're slowly, but just by that, race 2? We're not race 2 anymore. No, we're race 1. As quiet as it's kept. We are on the up and up. So Capone and Pierre made a good point.
Pierre, I want to come back to you. I know I saw laptop, and I know what that means. So go ahead, Pierre.
I don't play emotions. I play facts. Okay, I don't care what anybody says. Right here, U.S. facts. 63.8% of Americans are white in 2010. 63.8 in 2010. Now, 59.3 in 2021. So it has lost a little bit. They've lost 4% or 3%, but it's 63 and it's 59. It ain't about how I feel. Hold on. Black folks in 2010 were 12.3%. Now they're 12.6%. So 12% and 6%. I don't play the game now. I don't play the emotional game, but white folks are the majority in the United States. Now you can say what you want to. Go Google anything. You can say Google.
Well, you're making them feel better by saying that.
Hold on, let me.
No, yeah, come on. I'm gonna come to you. Yeah, come on. I'll let you respond to that, of course. Come on.
First of all, Black people, we learned the tricks of the trade, and we don't do census. The census that they send us, we don't fill those out no more. That's just the truth. It's been that way for a while. When we found out what is the trick of census, they're gonna always tell you that they're the majority. That who owns the media to tell you this? Who owns Google to tell you this?
There you go.
Google all you want to. Every Black individual is not going to put themselves out there. We are the majority, and we're going to be the majority for a while because we keep growing. Anything you mix with Black, guess what, brother? it becomes black. And there's more interracial relationships than there is anything else in the United States.
Now, well, yeah, definitely. I appreciate you all for chiming on this. Kenny, of course, thank you for sparking that conversation. Before heading out, I'd love for you to let people know how they can follow you, but also your website and everything like that. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Let's give them one more round of applause. All right, guys, so we have one more live studio audience. This is Jamonte. He's an actor right here in Atlanta, Georgia. So, Jamonte, thank you for joining us. I'd love for you to ask your question. Of course, you can direct it to whoever you want to start with.
You can't. You can't. The only way you're going to reference your space, if you will, is if you got to be secure with yourself, my man. When you're in this business as an artist, you got to start with you, because people can break your ass down. If you are, you got to be so secure within yourself, man. Because if you're not, I mean, look at trolls in the comment sections. If you don't agree with what they don't like, they can tear your ass up, and it can hurt if you don't have it in here to say, okay, because they don't know you. They don't know you. But when you know yourself, you reference your own space. And when you reference your own space, everything is a cakewalk around you, my brother. I promise you that.
That is actually a good question, but I can't give an answer about that. But what I can tell you is, if you want to start to see your space personally, if you're an artist, do a show and invite your family and see how many of them will attend. That way you know where your space is at. There is no space. Whether you limit yourself, whether the people you think is going to support you and all of that, because you will soon find out that it's a very lowly space that you're in when you try to think that those around you are going to support you in the beginning. And when you become successful, then everybody becomes your cousin. Right. So it's a different space all the way around. It depends on the space and the route that you want to take to fulfill that space. But it's everywhere for us. We just got to go out and grab it.
Yes. I don't know what the black space is, a la Capone, because we ain't no percentage. We're big. Are we big space, little space? To Capone, whatever you want to be. Are we a huge space, no space, little space? I mean, the facts don't say nothing. So I guess you know your space is what your space is. If you feel like you're the biggest artist in the world, you're the biggest artist in the world. Who says numbers matter and shit? Numbers don't matter. Shit, you know, believe yourself. I'm a star. I'm the #1 comic in the world. As far as I'm concerned, everybody I know love me. So I'm #1. Damn a number. I don't give a damn about numbers. I'm a star. So you make your own space, as Capone says. Your numbers are your numbers. Damn what the white man say, or the numbers say on platforms. You your own space. So I'm large. I'm the greatest comic of all time and the best month out here. So that's my space.
Well, thank you so much, Jamonte, for joining us. Of course, before we head out, if you could let everybody know how they can follow and keep up with all the things that you're doing. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us again. We'll give it up for our live. Now, of course, as he was talking about, you guys know I love to wrap up the show with what you have going on. So first, since Yamanika isn't here, I'm actually going to start with Yamanika first, and then I'm going to go to everybody. So let's take a look at Yamanika's sign off for the year.
Well, I just want to say I am so grateful to Comedy Hype, right, to come on every Wednesday and give my opinions in the world and in the world of comedy. It's been a fun ride. It has oftentimes been controversial, and I don't shy away from that. I want to say, obviously, a special thank you to John for allowing me to come on. As always, Symphony for being so gracious and smart and beautiful, and you know, just really able to move the conversation forward. Special shout out to Pierre. You know, oftentimes we don't agree, or sometimes we do agree, but to have, you know, share this space with him every week has been an honor and a privilege. I definitely have a lot of respect for Pierre. And I want to say this before I go, and this is maybe a little off topic, but I want to say this because I know we are planning to do this. You know, we had this conversation about Megan Thee Stallion, and the comment sections went really crazy. And one of the things that I thought that we needed to do, and obviously John agreed, and there needs to be a larger conversation. Obviously, there's people that feel like they're not being represented or they're not being heard. And I take on the challenge. I have there's no part of me that doesn't want a conversation and dialogue, whether I'm long-winded, whether I talk passionately about the things that I talk about. I have been in discord with a lot of people, and I welcome it. So, you know, I look forward to having a larger conversation about Black women and Black men. I also want to say this. People want to say that I get emotional, and I do. I am a Black woman. If I am not to have emotion as a Black woman about issues with Black women, then you should question me. But I also want people to understand that I come with facts. And whether you want to refute the facts that I come with, if you don't want to take the opportunity and time, which I think is very important as a Black man, if I felt some kind of way about the things that I was saying on this platform, you most certainly have the opportunity to also do your level of research. How I know some of you guys haven't done it is because you haven't come back with any counter statistics that have not been emotional, as you have said that I'm emotional. Go do your research. No one's saying it's not hard to be a Black man. What I'm saying is, at this time, when we see so many Black women being murdered, this is a crisis. And if you think Black men are not represented or not heard, imagine being not only Black, but also a woman in this world, and how small your voice will be. So I will always stand up for Black women. I will always advocate for us. And I love us. And I will make a correction. When I did speak in absolute. There's not many things that I back down on, but I will say this: it is not all Black men. But I think in the conversation that I was having, we had gotten to a very fever pitch portion of the conversation. I was left there to have that conversation sort of alone. And I was also agitated at the way that the conversation had ramped up, that I did say Black men without making the distinction that it is not all Black men, it is some. So we know that there are some beautiful, amazing and talented men in this world, and we appreciate them. And I would also say this to the Black women who sort of want to support this toxic masculinity. Remember, when you go in the comment section and you see men making comments about how certain women don't deserve protection or respect because they have wide noses, because they are Black or full-figured, unattractive, you have to ask yourself, how would that man respond to you, right? With your 4C hair and your wide nose and your Black skin and your African features. Let's not be so quick to defend people that we know at the end of the day will not defend us when our backs are against the wall. So I appreciate you guys. I appreciate the conversation. Even all the men that hate me, God willing, you'll see me next year. We don't know what, listen, no day is promised. But as long as the Lord gives me in my nose, I will be here when I can. Even when I'm in Hollywood getting my hair done by a beautiful, high-value queen who gets me there. Thank you, guys. Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy New Year. God bless. Love you guys.
Now, I know there, was a little bit of friction, and we have heated debates here. We have honest conversations. We have open table to discuss these. So, Pierre, I'm going to come to you first, of course, if you'd like to respond. But also, I'd love for you to tell us, signing out, what you have coming up and how people can keep in touch.
All right, then. All right. Let me say, first of all, Yamanika is my sister in comedy, and I love her. And nothing's going to change about that. What happened the other week was what it was. We're like family. We're going to argue at times or debate at times, and it get heated at times. And we'll continue to, move forward and, just that happens in relationships, in friendships and family. Like I consider my family. I love Yamanika. I really do. One of the reasons I got off air is, first of all, men don't argue with women. That is, there's no winning battle. That's a woman thing. I'm sorry to say that. I'm debating and getting all high and all that. After a while, I realized it was talking in circles, and we were going in circles. And I know how emotional women can get. I've had sisters. I've been in marriage and relationships. So I know how I can get. And it can be a never-ending situation. Women, I think, are built more for that kind of debating situation. A real man, a real G gets up out of that situation. And I chose to do that. Let her have her shine. And she did what she did. I didn't see the show. I haven't even looked at the comments. Of course, people told me about the show, told me she went on a little longer after I went off. And some of the comments, they mentioned it. One thing you won't get is me and her to dislike each other. I'm not gonna let y'all in the comments do that. That'll never happen. I was happy that she came on the show. She's part of the show. And I'm happy she'll continue to be on the show. And I'm gonna continue to be on the show. If you don't like me, it's okay, man. I'm here. There's a reason why I'm here. Okay. There's a reason why I go first most of the time. I knew what I signed up for, and Comedy Hype knows why I'm here. You know what I'm saying? It's funny that we're on a Black platform, and sometimes people say, "Oh, you're a good long guy." I'm one of the ones that don't. I go against the subjects of that. I can always say everything Black is right, everything Black is perfect. But you see, I don't do that. I'm going to stand 10 toes down because I'm a man. So what I feel like I want to say, I'm going to say. If it goes against the majority of this platform, so be it. I know why I'm here, brother. You know what I'm saying? I got too many people on the streets that love me, that walk up to me and say, "Man, I want you to keep on." My bad. I got people on this show, on the streets, that tell me, "Hey, I want you to keep doing what you're doing. I love what you're doing." Now, of course, some people in the comments don't love it. That's fine. You have every right to have your opinion, as I have a right to have my opinion. And I had my opinion the other day, and I felt as though, what I said meant it. Now, it was an opinion. We can't say facts is fact, it's opinion. So people can say facts unless you bring numbers on. It's your opinion. That's what we get hired for, to give our opinion. Some go with it, some don't go with it. It's okay. I'm not going anywhere unless God, the Lord takes me, or me and Comedy Hype decide to go our separate ways. If you don't like me on the show, if you don't, hit that mute button when I talk. But you know what? You can't. Because subconsciously, I'm going to give you the real, I'm going to give it to you, I'm going to give it to you. And you're waiting for it. And it's okay. That's what this platform's about. To bring out stuff, to talk about now. It went from Comedy Hype to dramedy hype. At times, we do a little more dramedy than everything else. But you know what? I'm here for it. So again, me and Yamanika, man, we're friends. We're going to stay friends. I love her. I have no negative things. And it will get hot again. But if it gets to a point where it got to again like that, I'm about it. I'm not about to go argue with no female all day or go back and forth, yelling to the top of my lungs or whatever the case may be. I don't get down like that. I say what I say. If it becomes a circle, a circus and a circle, then I jump out. So you can say what you want to about me by jumping out. It's fine. But again, I appreciate Comedy Hype for another year, man. This has been, that's like a family to me. Like me and Capone. I love Capone. I love Yamanika. I love Danielle. I love Symphony, the whole crew. That's what we hear with different opinions. If we all had the same damn opinions, it would be a boring show. If everything was, I agree with this, I agree with him, I agree with her, I agree, all the way through every time, then what fun would it be? The social media, you know what it is. You know why you tap in. You know what it is. So again, thank y'all. I look forward to another season next year. I'm gonna be in the same seat. So if you got the problem, you got to leave, nigga, because I'm not leaving. Okay, I'm not going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? My bills need to be paid, and Comedy Hype pays my bills. Okay. So you can see me on my social media. Follow me at Comic Pierre, COMICPIERRE. Now, you got a lot of time to put it in the comments.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Capone, I'm going to kick it over to you. What do you have coming up? And of course, how can people follow you? This is the last episode for the year. Capone.
The last episode. First of all, to my Comedy Hype family, I really appreciate you guys. I'm kind of a tough pill to swallow. I don't hold back anything. I don't feel that it would be justice for myself to hold back anything. And y'all make it so comfortable for me to be myself. Sometimes I'm looked at as the angry Black militant, which I'm not. I love my people. And we've been through so much, and this opportunity that Comedy Hype has given me to express, because, even as a comedian, there's certain things I can't say because people won't understand it. But this is definitely an outlet to where you can really express yourself and do it with taste. And like Pierre said, you know, some people gonna like it and some people not. But the thing is that we here, we've been through a lot. You know, other cast members not here for whatever reason, they stepped up, but we still have love for them too. Symphony, you become like a little sister to us that we're gonna protect no matter what. Nobody can ever say anything. As a matter of fact, nobody has ever said anything. Even last night at the show, somebody came up to me with I didn't know you had anything to do with the shirt that says my mother's a Black woman, but a woman walked up to me yesterday at the show and said, tell Symphony I'm representing. And so, you know, I get emotional when I see that because you don't realize how many people are watching. And to me, this is a show that is put together with people with integrity. And I just thank y'all. And y'all can follow me on Comedian Capone on Instagram. And if you can't spell comedian, please don't follow me. And you know what I'm getting in my inbox now? As you can see, I can spell comedian. So
I love it.
I don't actually know the date that we're coming back, but I know I'm coming back. And if I don't come back, I'm coming in the studio anyway, because y'all know I'm gangster like that.
Well, I look forward to it. I definitely look forward to it. Now, of course, we have special guest, Mr. Rex Garvin. I know that you'll be around a lot more, which I'm really excited about. But can you tell people, you know, what you have coming up and how can people follow you?
Well, I'm back here now. I just moved here last week. I'm back home.
Yes.
From Denver, Colorado. So all the white women, I'm gone. I know y'all love chocolate, but sisters, I'm available now. I wash. I smell like oil. Let me stop. Y'all be taking me seriously. But I'm a true to form funk prophet, laugh specialist, feel good therapist, and I'm going to be working with Black youth here to get their minds together, man. I'm back. I love Capone, Pierre. Man, you guys are dynamite. Pierre, you know I'm a fan of yours, man. Capone, I love everything you're about. Mount Vernon, New York, brother. New York dude. And brother, homemade from scratch. I'm old school to the pure. I don't change. I love my old school millennials. There's so many millennials I met in the old school, and I'm here for you, man. I'm here for the youth. I'm going to be working with Black youth. We got so much violence out here in the streets. I'm going to be here to do my thing to help, man, because for those who don't know, I used to be the house MC at the Comedy Act Theater, the first Black comedy club in the South on 8th and Peachtree. This is where Bruce came from, Jamario, Chris Tucker, Chocolate, Small Fry, Sherman Golden, Arnez J, Steve Harvey. I turned Steve Harvey onto the Black comedy game. I'm that dude. Because I had a bad show in Texas. I bombed. I was horrible. I was too busy being cute. But Steve Harvey did 2 hours before I came on. Steve Harvey's something else. I got some Steve Harvey stories. That guy's off the hook. He did 2 hours before I came on because he had the crowd. So by the time I came on, I was like broke down Benny and shit. But that's how him and Cedric got together. But love Steve. I love everybody that's out here, man. John, Symphony, everybody. You're doing a great job. And I'm going to tell you something. Comedy Hype is the first channel of its kind where we can have a voice. So I applaud you guys. You guys are the Bible. Black comedians, humorous Black people of color need this. Because mainstream didn't give us this. Okay, so like I said, you guys are the mainstream. That brother made a good point. We're the mainstream now. So thank you for okaying a guy like me. And if you want to see more of what I'm doing, go on YouTube. And I got a video called Laugh. It's called a video experience. Look me up, Rex A. Garvin, and go on YouTube, Laugh. That's what we need because the world's in a nervous breakdown right now. We're doing real bad. Under these uncertain times, COVID changed every damn thing. So we need laughter, and we need dance. And that's what I'm going to do to get the body on. So the True to Form Funk Prophet is here. I am the 45 in the album, homemade from scratch.
Hey, man, hey, we did a show for a year, nigga. That's why we talked so long. You better one day, nigga, calm that shit down. You can wrap that motherfucker up in 15 seconds, nigga. You act like you been here for a year, nigga. Calm down, homie. Nigga, all his shit.
Man, your big Daffy Duck excited ass. You can go toe-to-toe and bust around the way you talk, nigga. You're talking that shit. Get a word in.
2 minutes, nigga. Damn.
I love it.
Shit. Damn.
Yeah,
nigga, talk about your youth, nigga. How you what talk about kindergarten? That's great. God damn, junior high school. Nigga, yeah.
Man, y'all have my cheeks hurting for sure. But no, I definitely appreciate you all for chiming in on this topic. And yes, I also want to thank, I'll keep mine short, Pierre. But yeah.
No, you got time. You got it. You deserve it. You got to get your shit short now because of that.
Okay, you was going right now talking about you a man. You ain't gonna let no woman. You weren't going over and over. Shut up.
Fuck out of here.
No, but I do want to.
Nigga gave the address to the comedy club. What the fuck? Who get the fuck about the address to the comedy club?
Call me goddamn, baby. Shit, goddamn on that shit.
1809 Clark Street. Nigga, who get the fuck name of the comedy club? Nigga, shit. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh my God, how do I even go from there? No, but seriously, I want to thank Comedy Hype for allowing these discussions to happen. You know, I'm big on saying you don't have to necessarily agree with people, but it's all about respect. And I love y'all for having these tough conversations, you know, whether we're laughing, having a good time, or kind of going toe to toe. At the end of the day, we love and respect each other, and that's such an amazing platform to be a part of. Pierre, I love you. Capone, I love you. We've been here since the beginning. I remember the early days when y'all were in the studio with me. But all in all, like Rex said, COVID changed everything, Rex. COVID changed everything. But I really do appreciate y'all. Y'all are like big brothers to me. I love and appreciate y'all for being here for me. Anytime I've had to reach out or anything, y'all are there and you answer the phone. So thank you so much. Yamanika, thank you so much for joining us. I know you're not here today, but having you on this platform is valuable because you do add another voice, especially for women and people who may not be able to speak on certain topics. And of course, Rex, I love when you join us. I hope to see you more next year so that, you know, when he goes a long time, we'll have a reason why, because he's going to be on more shows.
Don't forget Daniela.
Don't forget our Bahamas queen.
Oh no, I'm not. I make sure to wrap up with Danielle. Yes, and a big shout out to Danielle who calls in from the Bahamas. Met her in Atlanta, and it just made so much sense to bring her on the platform. So I'm super excited that we were able to make that happen, and we're going to continue to see her more and more with beautiful backgrounds and zoos and all that good stuff. So yeah, I'll just wrap up there. Again, I appreciate y'all so much. Thank you, Comedy Hype, for putting this all together and continue to give us a Black-owned platform that's literally for us and by us. Yes, we can definitely give a round of applause there. So yes, I'm going to close out there. You know how we do, the same sign out. Again, I appreciate you all for chiming in on this topic. You heard from us. Now we want to hear from you in the comments below. What are your thoughts on Lil Rel calling out the Black audience in defense of Jerrod Carmichael? For Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson.
Put in the comments about Rex, okay? And about Rex. Let me hear what y'all got to say about Rex.
Guess what? Comedy Hype gave me a special. 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 Comedy Hype gave me a special, and it's fly as hell.